Hey there, Eurus here, and welcome to Community Life. Here we talk with the amazing humans from the community world about their life journeys and learn from each other. And today we have a conversation with Lia Mladenova, a community builder and events facilitator who brings souls into communities, a yoga teacher, and an avid traveler who is deeply connected with the world and loves exploring different cultures and being in nature. So, hello, Lia.
Hi. Thank you for having me, Yuri.
I couldn't not ask this. So tell me a backstory of your 200% tattoo.
My turn. Oh, that's a nice question. So basically, there is this Bulgarian song. It's like an R&B underground rap song, which I was listening to a lot in 2019, 2020, when I was going through a very rough period in my life. And the song is very empowering. It's about, like finding your path and sticking to it and really reminding yourself that you can do it. So basically, I was so inspired by this song, and I'll send it to you because I'm sure that you understand it, even though it's in Bulgarian. And yeah, I was so inspired. I told myself I need to put it as a tattoo so that I have this reminder, like to keep going and believe in myself and in my path. Yeah.
What was the last drip in the ocean that you were like, okay, I'm doing it?
To be honest, I don't remember. Like with the tattoos, I'm very like, I don't put many thoughts into it. I'm like, I want to do a tattoo. And I'm like, usually I go to do like two or three at once so that I don't lose time, like with thinking and going and etc. And I knew that I wanted to mark this song. And yeah, I told myself I really wanted a small tattoo, something that is very gentle, but also like, I see it because I see it every day. You can see it here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, I would definitely put this song, yeah, as a tattoo.
I'm curious. So you are collecting ideas for tattoos and I'm like, okay, I will do like 3 in one time. Does it work for you like that?
Yeah, so usually what happens is that all of my tattoos are certain inspiration or certain like in a way they're marking a very important period of my life. They're connecting me with something that I've been going through, or they are a reminder for something. And when something like very big happens and I know that I want to, like put it in a way in my body canvas, I'm like, okay, like this is something that I want to have here. So yeah, I'm starting to think, okay, what is symbolizing it, for example, and what is the symbol. For example, now in the summer I've been working and seeing a lot the spiral symbol in my life, just like outside and in my work and etc. And I know now, for example, this winter I want to do a tattoo with a spiral. I just still don't have the clear image of the tattoo, but usually like it happens very quick. And once I have the full image, like I have other two tattoos in mind also, and I just go and do them at once.
You know, it's interesting. The spiral symbol reminds me of the Moana movie. Have you seen it?
Yes, but a long time ago. Yeah,
So
not
maybe
a classics person. Yeah.
Maybe there are some ideas in this cartoon for you. You never
Yeah.
know. So while we are here, I can see it, and I'm always curious. So tell me a backstory of your spiders tattoo.
Of my spider tattoo. Somebody else asked me a couple of days ago about it. I'm afraid of spiders.
Hmm.
I've always been afraid of spiders since I was a kid, and I just told myself one day, okay, like I need to start facing this fear and my fears in general. And I was like, I'll just put a spider to remind me to face my fears in life. So at first when I got it, it was very weird because the first one, two times I remember when I was looking down, I thought something is crawling with me and I was like panicking, and then I was like, okay, it's my tattoo actually. Everything is okay. And then it's interesting afterwards. My relationship to spiders also shifted. So
Hmm.
basically now when I see a spider, I'm a bit more peaceful. I just take the spider and put it outside my home. Before that I was like, oh no, there is a spider. I cannot go into the room. Of course, like if I see a very big spider, maybe I'll be freaking out, but I still haven't tested this.
Yeah, I totally get it. I wanted to ask about the size of a spider because recently I met like, I don't know how, like really big spider in my room. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm kind of not afraid of you, but I don't really want to touch you. Like I'm
Yeah.
taking something to let you out. So,
Yeah, for me, one of my biggest things with books in general, like I don't mind having books in my room, but I'm like the moment I fall asleep, I'm falling asleep with the thought maybe they'll start crawling on me. And when I was little, somebody told me that when you sleep, you eat spiders because
oh
they
my
go
God.
to your mouth, and that's why I was so freaked out. Of course, I don't think the big spiders you sense them in a way, but still, like when I was little, I remember I was having small spiders in my room, and I was just going to my parents, and I was like, "No, I cannot sleep here. Please help me." Yeah.
What did they do?
Yeah, they just came and either killed the spider or took it and put it outside. Yeah, because my bed was like it wasn't on the ground floor, it was a bit up, so
Mhm.
it was like a bunker bed. And like, I was very close to the ceiling, and I was very close to the spiders, and I told them I cannot sleep if there is a spider above my head, so you have to deal with it.
And spiders were like, "What the hell? No, I just created my net. Why once again? What is Leah doing with me?"
Yeah. But now we are in more peaceful relationship for sure. Like I'm really respecting them when I see them, and then I'm like, okay, maybe you're a bit too big. I'll put you outside. It will be better there.
So let's start from the beginning. Tell me about your parents. Who are they?
um, yeah. So my mom, she is like an older version of me, I would say. Like she's very artistic. She was studying actually like puppet theater. And yeah, she's very wonderful. Like she's very warm and kind. Actually, her name in Bulgarian means kind.
Hmm.
Like it's Miwa, maybe like it's, yeah, you can make the
Yeah, I
connection.
can understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's very, very warm. And yeah, my dad, he was like a bit more, how to say, like he was an engineer person, so he was very, like organized, and like my mom, if I can imagine her like a fluid person, he was very, going straight in a forward line, and but they were in a way like balancing each other, and I was always seeing them, like as a perfect duo, because he was this more, grounded person, while my mom is this like very emotional, like artistic person. So yeah, they were very, very nice duo together. Yeah,
Do you know how did they meet?
actually, yeah, it's a very interesting story. My surname Mladenova, actually my mom, her surname before marrying
Hmm.
my dad was also Mladenova.
Hmm.
Basically, they accidentally went to the same party, and my mom's best friend just shouted, "Mladenova, where are you?" And then my dad heard that there is somebody else with the same surname, and then met, and 9 months later they got married. Yeah, so it's a very nice story actually. Yeah.
And I would say very practical. You don't have to change anything, basically. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, when I was little, I was always, like I had this fixed idea in my mind. I have to meet a person who has the same surname because I don't want to change my surname also. Yeah.
I feel like it's making it a little harder, to leave the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be easier with all the paper stuff, etc. So I totally get you. And I'm curious, what did you take? Like, so you've told that you are pretty much the same as your mom, but what did you take from your dad?
The organization, I would
Hmm.
say. And yeah, in a way, this like, I would say when I was younger, it was a bit, yeah, how to say it, like bad ambition in a way. Like I was too ambitious, and I was, this was leading to not very good healthy things, but just this ambition, because he was always like the person who he knew what he wanted, and he was working hard to get it, so he was also very successful in his work. And this is something that I always witness, like person who is really hardworking, who is willing in a way, yeah, just to put any efforts he needs, but also he was doing it not so much for his own ego, but for the family. um,
Hmm.
and the other thing, of course, the traveling, because he was traveling a lot.
Are you an ambitious person?
Yes, yes,
How do
I
you know
would.
that?
Yeah, because when I tell myself something that I want to do it, I'm just like, I will do it. Now I'm a bit more laid back for sure, but especially when I was in high school and in university, I was like, if I want to do something, give my best and I'll do it. And yeah, of course, it created a lot of internal pressure, but it taught me to be organized, like to trust in myself. So yeah.
What was one thing that you really didn't want to do, but you told yourself you would do, and then you have done this?
You mean in general in my life?
Yeah, overall.
Um, hmm. I don't think I have something that I didn't want to do, to be honestly. Like maybe from my perspective right now, I would say my bachelor degree. Because when I was 10th grade, I wanted to study fashion management. Like I
Hmm.
wanted to go into the fashion industry. But then in 12th grade, I have this big conversation with my mom, and she was really convincing me how I need to have, something more general, something that will, um, just give me a very good base so that I can then specialize in something that I want. And then I started studying like business administration in Vienna. And I was studying accounting and finance. And this was something that I didn't like. Of course, I put a lot of effort in that. But it was something that, yeah, if I can choose it now, I wouldn't choose it.
Knowing you and seeing your professional journey, I wouldn't say that you are really into finances and accounting. Yeah.
No, no. Like I found accounting interesting. Like I could get it because I'm good in math. But I always knew it's not something that I would go into, like I had friends who were studying the same like business administration in Vienna, and they chose
Hmm.
to specialize in finance and like accounting. But I was like, no, like no.
What is the first memory of your childhood that comes to your mind right now?
Yeah, maybe like taking a Saturday walk with my parents. So there is this street here in the city center. And before the city got so crazy like it is now, it was very peaceful.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think we were taking this walk since I was like, I don't know, 4 years old. And it was almost every week. And we were going towards, there is this square where they were selling books, like it
Hmm.
was called the book square. Um, and going to the square, like my dad was buying me um, chestnuts. I think it's chestnuts in
Hmm.
English. And he was buying me like chestnuts, from this old lady. And I was eating chestnuts and going to the books because I was a big bookworm. So it was the perfect Saturday for me. Yeah.
What books were you looking for?
All kind of books. Like I think, like I was, of course, because we were giving each summer like list with recommended literature for the next grade.
Hmm. Yeah.
So even in first grade, I was reading everything, and I just loved all kind of adventures, like kids' adventures books, like from Astrid Lindgren. I also loved a lot of these French authors. So all of the kids' literature, I was very into it. And then, of course, when I grew up, a bit more fantasy. Yeah.
Is there a book that goes with you through whole your life?
Um, hmm. I don't think so, to be honest. Like, I think for me, the books are very like marking a certain period of my life, but I barely go back to a certain book,
Hmm.
because I think like at least for this period, I believe that the books are finding me because they can teach me something for this period. So for example, for my childhood, there was this book from Astrid Lindgren. It was the Brothers with Brave Hearts. It was something
Hmm.
like this, at least. Like I'm translating directly from Bulgarian, so I don't want to be held accountable. It's not the book, but it was a book that I was really loving. And there was another one from, I don't remember the author, but it was called The Invisible Child. So it was
Hmm.
also a very good book that I really loved. And maybe these are the books that I read a couple of times. And one Bulgarian book, which unfortunately I don't know how to translate.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm asking you exactly because I also remember reading a lot of books during the school time. And like now I'm reading some of those books, and I'm like how could they give those books to kids in school? They wouldn't understand anything. Like it's an adult book. Like why do they teach those books to kids? It's like so weird. And
Yeah.
currently my kid is in sixth grade, or yeah, sixth grade. And he's, or in seventh, oh my god, seventh grade, yeah. Oh, so, and I follow the books that he reads, and they are much more related to the age. So there are
Mhm.
more, like there are some books about the kids his age, or there are some adventures books, some interesting books. And I'm like, and I remember like reading this Master and Margarita. I'm like, what the hell? Like I
Wow, you had to read it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I didn't understand it. I reread it recently, and I'm like, I still cannot say that I'm like fully understood it still.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what is your, but sometimes it's interesting, to see what changes in you,
Mhm.
from childhood to who you are right now, because books can really tell you this. And I'm curious, how much do you think you changed since childhood?
Can I say a lot, but also not so much? Like it's very, yeah, I think of course a lot because I gained a lot of like life experience and yeah, I had to face a lot of difficult things like very early. But at the same time, I'm not like, especially in the last few years when I started, taking more care of myself, in a way also reparenting myself. I'm not seeing how my inner child is again, like, being very comfortable and I can express it a bit more, and things that I did in my childhood, I'm doing them also now, like a bit more creative things that, for example, when I was living in Vienna, because I was studying and working and everything was very, straightforward, I didn't give myself so much space to do them, but now I'm a bit more playful in that direction. So I would say now I'm bringing back some childhood aspects of myself.
How do you play?
It depends. Like maybe I will draw, maybe I will just dance. Maybe I'll just go. Like, yeah, I just go in nature and I start picking up chestnuts and things. And I'm like, I'll do something with it. Like things that I'm trying to see this excitement that I was seeing as a child from the world. Because I think sometimes we can get too deep into all the adult problems, and of course not using this kind of playfulness as an escapism, but just reminding ourselves how nice things are. um, I don't have many people around me with children, so I don't play with children. Yeah, but like for example, when I was living in Vienna, my cousin, she had her first baby, and I loved playing with him. And I was just watching his toys, and I was like, it's so cool to be a child. Like they're so cool toys. Yeah, and I love Lego also.
So fun, my kid is always complaining about the school and stuff, and I'm like, have fun, most likely if you won't have fun now, you won't have fun later, and then you will be complaining about the whole life. Like, start having fun finally, like the school is the best time to do it. And it's interesting. I saw on your social media a post and the phrase that happiness is an inside job. So I'm
Mhm.
curious, how do you understand it?
Oh, I think this is like the biggest responsibility that we have, all of us. That like we shouldn't, in a way, expect that somebody else will make us happy or something else will make us happy. Because for me personally, my whole life I was like, if I achieve this, I'll be happy, or if I have this type of friends, I'll be happy. Always seeking the external, like validation for my happiness. And in a way, like when I was going through things, I was just more and more realizing, and I'm still, like it's not something that you master. I think you just try to make better with life, but still trying, to seek this happiness in myself and ask myself, how can I make myself happy? What are the things that will make me happy without expecting things from somebody else? Of course, I love, for example, being happy with other people and, spending time with them and everything, but not relying that they should be responsible for my own happiness, because I think this creates a bit of um, like a little bit of a hardness and weight in relationships, and like, in your relationship to life, because you're always expecting, that something should happen so that you feel happy, like, especially if you think also like about achievements and like, um yeah, just the way life is. For example, I wait for Friday so that I can be happy this week, or I'll wait for the vacation so that I can be happy, or I'll wait for this trip so that I can be happy. And of course, I'm going into this kind of mindset from time to time, because just life happens and I get into the everyday rut, and like, I forget about these things. But then, and I think that's why sometimes I'm putting these posts, because sometimes I'm going to my own feed on Instagram
Mm.
and checking them, and I'm like, huh, I was very smart there. Like, yeah.
Who is this earlier me? Oh, it's a really
Yeah.
smart person. Okay. So what is a small step to take to try to break this need for external validation?
um I don't think it's a small step, if I have to be honest. I think it's first realizing where you're putting your power outside of yourself. So basically, where you're expecting something else to bring you this internal, because I think happiness is very related to also internal validation in a way. And how are you, attaching yourself to certain external things so that you can validate yourself as a person. And I think we are all, whole, and we are all like, our best versions as we are, without having to prove anything to anybody. And just realizing this and noticing this, and then starting to ask yourself, okay, how can I actually make things happy because I want them, like, and not because I'm expected to do something, or I'm expecting somebody to do something for me. But yeah, I think this is very like individual journey, because each of us like is, this blockage that we have to internal happiness, so to say, like, it's very different for each person. Different
Yeah.
kinds of experiences in lives brought you to this moment. So for me, just, I always tell, my friends and like people with whom I work, especially on my holistic things, for me, the first and most important step is to realize what is happening in your life, and then when you decide that you want to make change, it happens very quickly. Yeah.
I also understand it's kind of sounds like just realize, but
Hmm.
also it's like close to the hardest work to really realize, because
Yeah.
you might think that it's this thing, but then like you understand that, yeah, maybe it's just a little deeper, just
Yeah.
too much deeper. So
Yeah, and usually some people, they realize it, but because it's, it takes work for me. I think this is, like the path of self-development and, like inner work, and it takes time, it takes work. And some people just either they don't have the space right now in their life to do this, or either they are a bit afraid to do it, which is
yeah.
also very valid. Like, I am not, no, I'm never forcing anybody, like to go in that direction. But I feel that when you realize it, there will be a moment in your life when you will have this opportunity to work on this thing, and, like, to start, yeah, diving deeper into what is happening. Yeah.
Are you still a believer?
Believer.
Belieber.
Ah, I like Justin Bieber, if I have to be honest. Like, I listen to his music, but I'm not like super big fan. I'm more of an Ariana Grande super fan. Yeah.
I mean, it's now, yeah. So before it looks like you were a believer.
I was a bit, yeah, but like, I wasn't from these crazy believers. Yeah, yeah. Really, like, I liked him a lot, but never in this like kind of yeah, super fan state of mind. Yeah.
What kind of fan are you for Ariana?
I'm super fan. On Spotify, each year, like since 2019, I'm top 1% listeners. I've listened to her new album. She dropped it now in on 8th of March. I was at the time in Asia. I listened to it in 24 hours. I listened to it 11 times. So you can imagine what kind of like, yeah, fan I am. Yeah.
Why do you like what do you like about her?
I don't know, like I don't have any, like I just like her music. I just like also the lyrics. Because I feel when you're a fan of somebody, you also know a little bit about their personal story and how it's, attached to the music. And for me, like I just like her as a persona, a lot. Like I like her kindness, um, and yeah, the music she makes is always touching me in a way. Like also, I was listening to it a lot when I was going through rough times. But yeah, it's very surprising because many people who know me, when I tell them that I'm an Ariana Grande fan, they're very shocked because I usually don't listen to pop music, and when they hear, because I also went to her concert in 2019, and they're like, "You listen to Ariana Grande?" And I'm like, "I don't just listen to her; I can pray to her."
And what do they think you listen to?
So electronic music. I
Hmm.
listen to a lot of techno nowadays. R&B I listen to usually. Neo soul I listen to a lot. Rock music. I listen to a lot of metal also, but people also don't know that so much. So I basically listen to everything. Like it just has to, like the singer, like the group, they just have to resonate with me, because there are some, for example, pop singers that I just cannot stand. And as well as the similar thing is, with metal groups or etc. Like I just need to like the music, because I don't see myself as a certain type of music fan. I just see myself as a music fan.
Hmm.
I just like music, and if the music is good, I don't have preferences what kind of music it is. Yeah.
What is the best way for you to discover some new music?
Um, so I either go a lot on Spotify, like a certain artist, and I go to radio, and then I go to the other radio, and like it's a this big spiral thingy. On YouTube a lot, SoundCloud a lot. So yeah, I'm just spending a lot of time actually to find new music. Like if you open my playlist on Spotify, I have playlists with 400 songs, just because I'm really obsessed with finding new music and listening to new music. Yeah.
Yeah, why I'm asking, because for me personally, I found it really hard to find new music. That's exactly why at every Between Two or Core meetup, I ask people to share their
Mhm.
songs of the week, because it's helpful, Like I found like, I don't know, 10, 20 songs after all. So like for me personally, it's the best way to ask someone, like what is your song of the week? Like what is your best song? And once again, like you were talking about Vienna, and I still remember the song by Billy Joel,
Yeah.
Vienna. And I was like, I was like, when it was Luke Zimmer who told me about this song, I was like, how did I not know about this song for whole
Yeah.
of my life? Like, it's so weird, but yeah.
But what
And
kind of music do you listen to?
yeah, me, myself, personally, I'm listening to also very, very different music, but my definitely two go-to artists are Linkin Park and Eminem. I would say Eminem and Linkin Park.
Mhm.
So Eminem in the first place, Linkin Park is last. But and I was really happy when Linkin Park restarted their career
Yeah.
currently, and I still wait for their album to drop out very, very soon. New album. We'll see. It will be fun. But
Yeah.
overall, it's like for me, it's super important to not to just have good music, but also good lyrics.
Yes,
Because
yes.
if I hear to a song with catchy rhythm but shitty lyrics, I'm like, yeah, no, no, not
Yeah.
for me. So I can excuse shitty music but good lyrics, okay-ish. But the
Yeah.
best way if like they're regular, and I feel like you have pretty much the same feelings about music.
Yeah, for me also the lyrics, because like I think with music is the thing that, wherever I'm in life, like I always count on music, as a way, to go back to myself. That's why I also have a tattoo of a song, like that's how close I feel to music. And for me, it's very important, like that I resonate with the lyrics. The really lyrics is not just like some surface kind of thing, but goes deep. So yeah, I totally understand. Yeah.
And it's also pretty similar to affirmations, that some people are saying affirmations, but when you sing a song with a good lyrics, it sounds kind of like an affirmation, because
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
I had this conversation with a couple of my friends, because we have this genre in Bulgaria. It's called pop folk.
Hmm.
It's a very interesting genre. Like it's a Balkan music genre, but like yeah, it's a very big topic in Bulgaria. But just these songs are always about somebody cheating on somebody or somebody
Mm.
breaking up with somebody. And we were just talking how on this kind of in this kind of clubs where they're listening to this music, people we are seeing how people are more aggressive, people are a bit more like acting from their ego because they're listening to this music and they're like okay, starting to like in a way think that this is their life, and putting them in this kind of state of mind. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really noticed this because of course like I was going to these clubs also, and I remember my state of mind back then when I was listening to this kind of music. I was so dramatic. Like I was really, I was super dramatic. Like I was really like a telenovela dramatic. And it was because when I was listening to these songs, they're like, breaking up with your boyfriend and he doesn't deserve you. And you're like in a bad state in your relationship. And you're like, yes, this is me. He doesn't deserve. And you start putting these thoughts
Yeah.
in your head. It can be so, so toxic. So I think music is a very important thing, and sometimes people don't realize how much it affects you. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. And yeah. Hopefully people are won't go too much to those clubs,
yeah,
because yeah, because for me personally, as my understanding of the club is where you just go and there is just music, just some rhythm without any words, without any meaning. Like because otherwise it looks like I don't know, some
brainwash.
religious
Yeah.
meetup, like where there is some sect or something like that, and people are like praising those. Yeah, oh my god, it's crazy. So you, according to your Instagram, you've been to at least 19 countries, maybe even more. So what is one country you wanted to go but haven't gone to yet?
Guatemala, I can
Okay.
per se. Yeah, this is on my list, and it's my highest priority actually. So I hopefully next year I will go, but it's definitely the place where I want to go most right now.
Why?
Because of the cacao.
Ah,
Because
okay.
of, like
Okay.
things that I'm doing with the cacao, like cacao, its origin is in Guatemala, and I really want to go there and just be in the cacao farms and everything. So yeah.
So if we're already talking about cacao, so tell me, what is a cacao ceremony?
So yeah, about the cacao, it comes from the Mayan and Aztecs culture, from this part of the world, which was called Mesoamerica, like Latin America and South America. And basically, for them, it's a ritual in which they are connecting with the plant because they believe the plants are guides, are teachers. They have certain kind of spirits, and you connect with this plant so that it can guide you to your inner world. Yeah, it's called also medicine because they believe that these plants that are with such kind of power, they can heal you, they can really help you with certain things. And I've witnessed this for myself for sure. Because as I told you in the beginning, like I started reparenting a lot of myself, and cacao has influenced this a lot. So cacao just taught me how to, be with myself and take care of my needs and really understand myself better. And yeah, it's if even if you're not so spiritual, I think it's a perfect like a yeah, just mindfulness practice that you can do, sitting with the cacao, listening to yourself. We don't do this very often. We are just taking something to drink and we are just drinking without putting so much intention in it. But yeah, it's a very beautiful tradition, and I really felt very connected with it when I went to my first cacao ceremony in Vienna. And since then, like yeah, I'm very obsessed with cacao.
So how does it look like?
So basically, you drink the cacao,
Mhm.
but it comes in these blocks, like yeah. So and it combines the cacao powder and the cacao oil.
Mhm.
So these blocks are before the cacao powder is extracted from the oil, and they are when you melt the cacao and when you put it in a hot water, you can see it's a bit more oily. It's not the like milk and cocoa kind of
Mhm.
thing. It's a bit more heavy. It's a bit more fatty. It's sour. Not sour. Sorry. It's oh my god, I forgot the word. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it's not sweet. It's
Yeah.
yeah, but it's very tasteful. Like I think I'm not think, especially when people drink it the first time. At first, they're like, "Mm," but then they are sipping and they're like, it's actually quite nice. So, yeah,
Sounds very much like coffee, because I remember my first experience with coffee and I was like, how can people drink this shit?
yeah,
And then I was like, okay, yeah, I understand it. Oh,
yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because each time it with cacao, it really depends on how you make it. Like even if you're making it yourself the same way, I'm adding different kind of spices and things, so it really changes also the taste. But it's so good, like yeah.
so what happened next? You are drinking cacao and what's happened next? Why is it a cacao ceremony?
Yeah, so usually the idea is that you connect with the plant spirit with an
Hmm.
intention. So we also have similar tradition in Bulgaria with water. And on a certain day of the year, we are taking our water and we are telling to our water our
Mm.
wishes and etc. And then at the end of the day, we like wash ourselves. We don't drink it. No, we drink it also. So it's similar to this, like you're taking your cacao, you're connecting with your cacao, putting your intention in that, and then it's in a way like you enter like a meditation. It's you stay with yourself, you see what is happening in your internal, because I think the idea is when you put your focus on a certain thing, like your intention, your energy starts to flow in this direction, and you start maybe realizing some things about yourself in that situation, or about it's like a meditation. And the ceremony comes from the fact that usually it happens with other people in a circle. There is somebody who is leading the ceremony, like a shaman or a person who is working with the cacao. So I'm not doing traditional ceremonies because I'm not initiated in them. But the Mayans, for example, they do it with fire, they do it with songs. So it's very different, and it's very nice because cacao also really affects you on your physical level, and it allows your heart to open physically, like the
Mm.
blood vessels are opening, you start pumping more blood, and you feel more excited, and you feel how your heart is opening, and it's very nice. Like I'm always seeing how people after cacao ceremony, they're like super chatty and super like, like as if you had like a big batch of
Mm.
chocolates, and after the chocolate you become more, like joyful. So it's a very nice experience.
No, it's interesting. My best cacao experience was with Nesquik, and I feel like it's totally not the same. So
Oh no,
it's
no,
I feel
it
like it's
gets
like it's like drinking this coffee in sticks and
yeah,
then trying the real one. So I feel like I really
no.
need to give a shot for real cacao. Hmm.
Nesquik,
See?
if you try real cacao, Nesquik doesn't have any taste afterwards. You just can taste the sugar. You
Yeah,
actually cannot
exactly.
taste
Yeah,
the taste of
yeah.
the cacao. But yeah, definitely, like if you're interested, I can send you also afterwards some recommendation to try, because it's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would love to. And you told me that you tried your first cacao ceremony in Vienna.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, why did you return to Bulgaria after living in Vienna for 6 years?
Oh, so many things actually contributed. First of all, of course, the pandemic.
Hmm.
I didn't handle it very well in Vienna, so to say. Like it affected me a lot mentally. Um, Second of all, my partner, because we started our relationship while I was living in Vienna and he's in Bulgaria, so this
Hmm.
impacted also a lot. And at a certain point, I also realized that I want to be in, more closer to my roots, to my family, to my traditions, to my culture. When I realized it, I also had a tattoo about it. So yeah,
Okay.
it says Koren.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand. It's like a
yeah,
root. Yeah. Hmm.
root. Yeah. So it's I was like, I really felt how like I want, because each time, um, in the start when I was living in Vienna, when I was coming to Bulgaria for the holidays, I couldn't wait to go back to Vienna. Like I really wanted to be in Vienna so much. But then with time, I realized how much I don't want to go back to Vienna. I just want to stay in
Hmm.
Bulgaria. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to, like do something in that direction. And actually, my partner, he was the last drop, like he was, because I was already thinking about it, and then we started the relationship, and he was like, I cannot be in a long distance relationship much longer. And I was like, okay, I'll come back. No, no problem.
I'm curious if he would go with you to Vienna, would you stay there?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was really feeling that I want to. Like, I was also very disappointed from the whole pandemic, like from how Austria handled everything. And I didn't feel well already in Vienna. Like, I love the city. I really love it. Like, I'm actually a bit homesick, if I can say it now. But I really felt that I want to be in Bulgaria again, and, like, to just be home. And yeah, I was missing it a lot. And for 6 years, when you leave at 18 and you come back for 24, you realize a lot of things that you first took for granted in Bulgaria, and you realize how beautiful actually they are.
Hmm.
And I realized that I really want to spend more time here. Yeah.
What is one thing you still miss about Vienna?
Um, the coffee culture.
Why
Yeah.
coffee, not cacao?
Yeah, I'm actually now not such a coffee drinker. I used to be a big coffee drinker, but just the coffee spaces in Vienna are so cool. Like, it's so nice, and I don't know, just the whole vibe of the city. Um, it's very special. It's very cozy. It's very hip. I really like it. Like, of course, I like a lot of other European cities, but for me, Vienna is very special because it combines this, you know, old kind of architecture with a very modern twist, and yeah, I really miss it. Yeah,
What is scarier for you, changing or staying the same?
staying the same for
Why?
sure. Um, because I feel when you stay the same and you don't allow change to come in, then in a way you're blocking yourself from your full potential. For me, always when I feel that change is coming, I know that I need to upgrade myself. And if I stay, like, I can choose, like, I can choose to be comfortable and to not change, but then know that I'll miss some things. I'll miss some things in my life, I'll miss experiences, and I don't want to do this because we have one life. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to make the change. Like, sometimes change is super scary. I don't say it's not. Like, for sure, I was super scared to come back to Bulgaria because I was like,
Yeah.
heaven. But yeah, I think once you move through this fear, you're like, it's amazing.
How do you know that change is coming?
You start feeling a bit dull in your life. I think you start feeling, okay, things are well, but something is missing. Something is not, maybe, like, I could do more. Like, I could, for example, yeah, you start feeling that things that were exciting you a lot at this stage are already so incorporated in your life and in your being that you just know that there is something more now that you need to
Hmm.
now start exploring. Yeah, it's a very, like, for me now, I really recognize it because I also start feeling a bit uncomfortable. Like, in a way, I feel that something is happening, but I cannot always explain it, like, yeah.
I have this question from one of the previous guests.
Mm.
Would you prefer a notebook for notes or digital one?
Notebook.
Why?
Notebook, because I like writing, and I really, yeah, for me, it's really also when you write. Now it depends on what kind of notes also, but personally, if I write my thoughts and etc., when you write, you really realize a bit more what is happening in your head. Yeah, like, you're in this witness position, because in comparison, when you text on your phone, you're like doing it a bit more like automatically. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Leah, I wish to have the sky is the limit talk conversation, but time is the limit. So let's jump to the rapid fire questions. So, sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
A river or a sea?
River. Yeah.
What is your favorite color and song?
My favorite color is white. My favorite song, I don't have a favorite song, really.
What is your favorite song of the moment?
Um, I don't have a favorite. Yeah, sorry. I'm thinking Okay,
Okay.
I'll tell you my favorite song the last month. It's Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande. Okay.
Yeah, I was guessing that it's something by Ariana Grande. So, if you were a superhero, what superpower would you have?
Talking with animals and with plants.
Who do you learn from? Name just one person.
um, my partner, I think. My partner.
Name two people whom I should definitely reach out to and have this conversation with.
Oof, I don't know who you didn't have conversation already with.
It's not about that. It's about like just name two people.
Um, I would say Lana. Lana, I'm not sure how to pronounce her surname. Jelenev. Yeah, you have to check her out. Um, and Avely, if you didn't have chat with Avely, for sure. Avely is a wonderful person. She was in Bulgaria recently and we had great time together.
Yay. Ask it forward. It's like pay it forward, but with questions. So ask a question a future guest will have to answer.
What is the thing you're most scary of?
Is there one question that I definitely should have asked you but didn't?
No, I think like what should have come came. Yeah.
Yeah,
Next time I'll talk about the travelings.
I still have a lot of questions. So as I say, the sky is limited, but time is limited. So most likely one day we'll have a module two, a conversation episode two, and continue this conversation from the moment we started. And for now, Leah, thank you very much. I know you for 2-ish years so far, but it's always more of a professional part, but and definitely Cacao Ceremony. But today I just get a small glimpse on into your life, into understanding who you are as a person. And thank you so much for allowing me to do that. And I'm super happy to get to know you better.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. And yeah, it's lovely to have this kind of conversations. Like just person to person. Like without the other things.
And remember, we didn't say community one
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it's just one time right now, but
I was referring to it with the other thing, but you insisted on bringing it up. Yeah.
that's how it works.
The
Yeah.
word
So
should not be spoken of.
definitely is this conversation to be continued.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for now, and see you in the
Yeah.
community world.